Let's take a look at some of the top rookie matchups of the upcoming season put together by our Ryan Wilson. There is a potential rookie quarterback matchup. Week 13, Kenny Pickett's Steelers against Desmond Ritter's Falcons. Let's break them down, all 5 of them, with Ryan Wilson. Ryan, let's start with week 1. Couple of Steelers rookie wide receivers going up against the Bengals' top pick in safety Dax Hill.
Yeah, this is going to be fun, Chris. So the Steelers need help at wide receiver, which sounds sort of weird to say, but Juju Smith-Schuster's gone, James Washington's gone, Deontay Johnson, he'll be looking for a contract, but he should be there. But they're going to have George Pickens, their second-round pick, the enormous wide receiver out of Georgia who tore his ACL last spring, had a really good season the time he was on the field. And then Calvin Austin, who's the exact opposite, at about 5'7.5", and he's an absolute burner. You see Pickens here against Alabama in that championship game. Contested catch guy, he can run by guys when he's healthy. There were some maturity concerns, and that's probably why he fell to the second round, but he is an absolute beast. Sort of the same mold as Chase Claypool, who they hope can have a bounce back year in year 3. But Dax Hill is going to be a big part of that defense. Now, the Bengals, for the first time in I don't know how long, have very few issues, so they went with defensive back Jesse Bates, their safety. He said he's not going to sign that franchise tender. He's looking for that long-term deal. We'll see what happens there. But they have insurance in Dax Hill, who's listed as a safety, but he can play in the slot. He can play outside. He can play deep center field. And that'll be a matchup in Week 1 and also in Week 11 when those teams meet again for the second time in the AFC North.
Speaking of the AFC North, how about the Ravens? It's a matchup in New Orleans on Week 9. And it's our number 1 overall player in the draft at CBSSports.com, Kyle Hamilton, top safety, against Saints wide receiver Chris Olave, who went number 11 overall. Yeah, so Chris Olave went a little higher than I thought, and we saw Kyle Hamilton fall to about the middle of the first round after that lights-out season. And the issues with Kyle Hamilton, of course, is he ran that slow 40 time at his pro day and at the combine. Chris Olave, for me, wasn't quite as explosive as his teammate Garrett Wilson, but certainly explosive enough. You can see that here, and that's going to be a big matchup. Now, Kyle Hamilton won't be guarding Chris Olave one-on-one because he plays safety, but he'll get an opportunity to match up with him in the deep half of the field. And the funny thing is, this is a Week 9 matchup. There are 5 games prior to that in which Kyle Hamilton's going to get a workout against rookie wide receivers. They face Garrett Wilson of the Jets, Tyquan Thornton of the Patriots, James Cook, who's a running back but will do a lot of receiving for the Bills, Wan'Dale Robinson, who perhaps some people thought was drafted a little high by the Giants, but certainly is athletic. And then, of course, the Cleveland Browns got David Bell and Jerome Ford, a running back as well out of Cincinnati. So there's a lot of work to do, and there'll be a lot of reps on the field in live action for Kyle Hamilton. Also, something else to keep in mind, by the way, Chris, their second-round pick, David Ojabo, who's coming back from that Achilles injury. He could be matched up in that game against Trevor Penning, the Saints' other first-round pick. So 2-on-2 there as we get to the midway point of the season at Week 9. All right, Ryan, help us get excited for Lions-Giants in Week 11. Aiden Hutchinson against Evan Neal. Those are 2 guys that at different times in your mock draft process, guys who went number 1 overall.
That's right, and we'll talk about the guy who actually went first overall a little later, sort of surprise late entrant in Trayvon Walker. But Aiden Hutchinson had a really good pre-camp process in terms of the rookie workouts, and as expected, and it felt like a layup at the pick number 2. And I think the Giants did exactly what they needed to do in terms of getting Evan Neal to give Danny Dimes everything he needs to succeed this year. He didn't get his 5th-year option picked up. He'll have a chance to prove himself. We'll see, but this is going to be a huge matchup. These teams faced in the bowl game, not last season, but the season before that. They certainly didn't go up against each other in 2021, but we saw a lot of good things from both players. There's a reason they were top 5 picks. Evan Neal, as you mentioned, Chris, had a chance to be the first overall pick at some point. I know that our buddy Pete Prisco wanted him to go first overall to the Jaguars. That didn't happen. And then Aiden Hutchinson, for the longest time in our weekly mock drafts, was the slammed-up guy to go first overall. And then things changed with the offensive lineman getting in the mix, and, of course, Trayvon Walker down the stretch there. 2 really good players. It's going to be fun to watch them match up. And it'll be probably the bright spot for 2 teams that probably aren't going to the playoffs this year. I'll put that way.
We do know it was one of the worst drafts for quarterbacks in a long time. I mean, we'll see in hindsight if that becomes the case. But how about a potential rookie quarterback matchup? It's late in the season, Week 13. Kenny Pickett's Steelers visit Desmond Ritter's Falcons. What are the chances that both those guys are starters by then? It feels pretty good. So Mitch Trubisky obviously was signed in the offseason by the Steelers to a 2-year deal. It looked like he was the guy until the draft happened, and we heard B-Mac talk about it coming in that segment there, that he didn't love the idea of Kenny Pickett there. The Steelers clearly felt differently. The only first-round pick at the quarterback position, so he'll have a chance to start right away. He's 24 years old. It's not like he needs time to grow into that position. And then you mentioned Desmond Ridder. A lot of folks thought he might go in the first round. I had some concerns with his accuracy. I thought he was probably a second or third round pick, and that's where the Falcons landed him. And the thing for him is this. He's going to the situation where he plays a lot like Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota hasn't started a football game since 2019. Clearly, this will be Marcus Mariota's team, but for how long? We know he struggled with injuries throughout his career in the NFL, and I don't know if that's going to magically heal itself. And if that's the case, in which we see Mariota go down, Desmond Ridder will have a chance to play. And the thing that you hear about Desmond Ridder, inaccuracy issues aside, is that he's a leader through and through. We heard that from his rookie teammates, even in the first few days in Atlanta. And the other thing to keep in mind, Chris, and we know there weren't a lot of quarterbacks taken after the first round and none in the second round, Bailey Zappi could be a week 2 matchup if for some reason Mac Jones gets hurt against Kenny Pickett, and then Matt Corral and the Steelers face off against the Carolina Panthers in week 15, and that's it. Otherwise, I don't see an opportunity for too many rookie quarterbacks to get on the field. Of course, Ryan Tannehill, Malik Wilson could be something to watch in Tennessee, but it feels like this Des Ridder-Kenny Pickett matchup might be the marquee of the bunch.
All right, your 5th and final rookie matchup to watch this upcoming season features the number 1 overall pick, Trayvon Walker, going up against Dallas's top pick, Tyler Smith.
Yeah, and we heard Pete Prisco talk about this coming in. Is Trayvon Walker an elite edge rusher? And those are the questions. Where does he play along the defensive line? He can line up just about anywhere with that athleticism, 6'5", 275, ran the 4.5-ish 40 time, the long arms, everything that you love to see. And he'll have plenty of opportunities to go against some really good pass protectors. In terms of rookies, we'll see Tyler Smith there in week 15. But prior to that, he'll have a chance to face Bernard Ryman out of Central Illinois, Central Michigan, Zion Johnson. He'll have a chance to face, who got drafted by the Chargers. Kenyon Green got drafted by the Texans. Evan Neal, who we just talked about. And then, of course, in week 15, that Tyler Smith matchup. Now, the thing about Tyler Smith to keep in mind, the Cowboys had a ton of penalties on the offensive line last year. Tyler Smith got a ton of penalties called against him last year at Tulsa, so he'll need to grow into that role and do it quickly. It sounds like he'll probably play left guard before he moves to left tackle, so it'll depend on where Trayvon Walker's lined up. But like I said, there'll be plenty of opportunities for Trayvon Walker to go against elite talent and some really good rookies who were drafted this year to help their opposing offenses when the Jaguars face off against them.
All right, we'll see if the Jaguars can finally take that step forward this season after back-to-back years with the worst record in the league. Ryan Wilson with us on CBS Sports HQ, looking at the top 5 rookie-on-rookie matchups this upcoming season. You can hear Ryan and others on the Pick 6 podcast. Ryan is on the very latest episode with Will Brinson and John Breach, taking all your mailbag questions. Those are always fun.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.